You are getting ready to listen to the voice of Dr. Rhadi Ferguson, 2004 Olympian, four-time national judo champion, Brazilian jiu-jitsu black belt, author, speaker, and coach.
Hey, what's going on, good people? Dr. Ferguson here. I was watching the news. I'm in my office, so I check the news about every hour and 15 minutes so I can take a break, because otherwise you go stir crazy in here, sitting in this office space. But checking the news, I was looking for the next, COVID-19 thing to talk about how long it sits on brass and how long it sits on surfaces and the airborne possibilities. I ran past the notification that Kenny Rogers had passed away. And I'm not a really big, huge country music fan, but I used to really enjoy that song, The Gambler by Kenny Rogers. And I did a couple speeches on it before. And he didn't write the song, as most singers don't, but he did make the song famous through singing it. And sometimes it's unfortunate when people who we respect, I'm gonna turn down the sound on my computer, people who we respect or know, or the icons, when they pass away and they get caught in this, and this is a pandemic, it's a media cycle, so not a lot of people are going to pay attention to his passing as they would if this was not going on. So, I thought I'd just share what I learned from that particular song. So, the song The Gambler goes like this. On a warm summer's eve on the train bound for nowhere, I met him with a gambler. We were both too tired to speak, so we took turns of staring out the window at the darkness till the boredom overtook us. He began to speak. He said, "Son, I have made my life by reading people's faces, by knowing what the cards were, by the way they held their eyes. So if you don't mind me saying, I can see you're out of aces. Before a taste of your whiskey, I give you some advice." So I handed him my bottle and he drank down my last swallow. Then he bummed a cigarette and asked me for a light. In the night, he was definitely quiet and his face lost all expression. He says, "If you're gonna play the cards, boy, you gotta learn to play them right." See, every gambler knows that the secret to survival is knowing what to throw away and knowing what to keep. Because every hand's a winner, just like every hand's a loser. And the best you can hope for is to die in your sleep. And when he finished speaking, he turned towards the window. He crushed out his cigarette and he faded off to sleep. And somewhere in the darkness, the gambler, he broke even. But in his final words, I found the ace that I could keep. You got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away, and know when to run. You never count your money when you're sitting at the table. There'll be time enough for counting when the dealing's done. Now, the beautiful thing about that, you can call it a poem or the lyrics if you want to, is that there's a young person on the train who's sitting next to an older individual. And that older individual is teaching him while hustling him at the same time. And it also lets you know that inside of the hustle or that hustling life, you're headed nowhere. Like it lets you know that the young man is sitting on a train, and the train is bound for nowhere. And him and the gambler are sitting there, and the gambler asks him if he wants some advice. Now the gambler's broke, and he's on a train headed for nowhere, but he's going to offer the young man in the chair some advice. It's not bad advice to take, because the young man still has an option to get off the train and go somewhere. But the gambler says, if you give me a hit of your whiskey, I give you some advice. He said, then he handed him his bottle and he drank down his last swallow. And then after he took his last, he said he bummed him for a cigarette and then asked him for a light. And the night grew deathly quiet, and his face lost all expression. If you're going to play the cards, boy, you got to learn to play them. The gambler got on the train with nothing to drink, with no cigarette, with no lighter, and was able to do something that a lot of folks get caught up in. They get caught up in the acquisition of non-durable goods. He felt good because he drank. He felt good because he smoked. But at the end of the day, he had nothing to show for it. He was on a train bound for nowhere. The young man did get a quality piece of advice. He found out that my particular circumstance in life, how I sit in this particular seat in life, the cards that I have to play, the cards in my hand, if I don't complain about the cards, I can understand that every hand that I can play as a winner, just like every hand as a loser. But at the end of the day, it depends on how you play it. And life is going to be full of trouble. And he said, man, the best you can hope for is to die in your sleep. All of us are going to leave here. You have a choice on which train that you travel, and you have a choice about the cards that you play. Because every hand is a winner, just like every hand is a loser. In the last stanza, he gets the takeaway information that he needs to apply to his life. The takeaway information is you got to know when to hold them, you got to know when to fold them, know when to walk away, and know when to run. So when you really look at the chief lesson that is being given here, the chief lesson is hold, fold, walk, run. There are times in your life when you need to understand when to hold. Don't speak. Don't say anything. Don't move. Hold. Don't get upset. Don't get angry. Don't type the email. Don't type the text. Hold. Don't show a negative expression on your face. Hold. There's self-discipline and self-control in holding. Sometimes you have to hold. Psalm 46:10 says, be still and know that I'm God. There's a point in time when you got to hold. Stay put, don't move, and hold. Then there's a point when you got to fold. There are times when you have to fold it up, pack it up, and stop. You have to fold. You were playing for a while and you had to determine, you know what? I don't need to be in this game. I'm going to wait for the next game. I fold. There's certain relationships that you're in, you need to fold. You guys have some jobs that you have, you need to fold. There's certain things that you do, behaviors that you have in life, you need to fold. Sometimes you got to hold. Sometimes you got to fold. And then I put the two things on the final part. I put them together because it's hold, fold, walk, and then run. Walking and running are two of the same things. They both fall under the category of locomotion. But the question is, how fast do I need to get away from the situation? Is hold, fold, walk, run. There's certain times we need to walk away from the situation. When things are going bad, you walk away. When you walk away, you don't alarm others. You just move slowly out of the situation. And then there are times when things get emergent, when you need to run. You have to exit the area and you have to get away as soon as possible. It's not time to hold. It's not time to stay in position. It's not time to fold and wait till the next game. It is time to remove yourself from the situation. Quickly, immediately, with emergence. Hold, fold, walk, run. And then the bonus, he gives a bonus. Gives a little bonus at the end. Don't count your money when you're sitting at the table. There'll be time enough for counting when the dealing is done. Now, that doesn't just talk about money. It talks about the things that you've acquired. Sometimes it's the information that you acquire. Sometimes when you're talking in a discussion, you want to let everybody know how much you know about something. Sometimes when you're in a situation, you want to let them know how long I've been working in this industry for such and such years. And nobody really cares, man. . Sometimes you need to hold. You don't have to count all your money when you're sitting at the table. There'll be time for that when the dealing is done. Many of you don't understand when you're in the middle of a situation and the cards are still being dealt out. Then many of you don't understand when you've been given your cards and you just have to play what you have. And then you don't understand how to play what you have. And then you don't understand that every time you have a hand, you don't have to play it. You can fold. You can hold. You can walk. And you can run. But at the end of the day, don't count your money when you're sitting at the table. Have some wisdom. Practice some wisdom. There'll be time enough for counting when the dealing is done. I appreciate your time. I have to get back to work, but I want to close by telling you this. The train was bound for nowhere. The train was bound for nowhere. Take stock in how you're traveling right now in your life and ask yourself if you're in a train, Jesus, that's bound for nowhere. This is Dr. Rhadi Ferguson, man. I definitely hope Kenny Rogers rests in peace. Hope you all are being safe during the COVID-19 situation. Remember, I love you, but God loves you best. Take care.